They said they were just co-parents. So why this dinner? It lasted only one evening, but it was enough to reignite questions many people thought were already settled. Al Pacino, now 85, and Noor Alfallah, 32, were seen arriving together for a quiet dinner in Los Angeles, instantly fueling speculation that their relationship may be closer than previously described. The sighting didn't come with public statements, dramatic gestures, or official confirmation. Just two familiar figures stepping into a members-only spot and walking back out under intense attention. According to widely circulated photos, Pacino and Alfallah dined together at San Vicente Bungalows, a private venue known for discretion rather than publicity. Alfallah appeared polished and understated, wearing a dark overcoat over a classic black dress, while Pacino opted for a dark trench coat and casual black sneakers. Both looked serious, neither acknowledging cameras, neither offering clarity, and that silence is exactly what made the moment travel so fast online. For months, the public narrative around Pacino and Alfallah seemed straightforward. They were no longer romantically involved, but remained on good terms as co-parents to their son, Roman, born in June 2023. Representatives had previously described them as friends who share parenting responsibilities. By most accounts, the story had moved on, until this dinner changed the tone. Because while celebrity co-parents do spend time together, context matters. This wasn't a child-related event. It wasn't a red carpet appearance. It was a late-night dinner at a private club, the kind of setting that invites interpretation, even when no conclusions are confirmed. And this wasn't the first time questions resurfaced. Months earlier, Alfallah herself raised eyebrows during a brief interaction with photographers. When asked how their son was doing, she casually replied that he was growing fast. But when the conversation shifted to her relationship with Pacino, her answer became far more ambiguous. She didn't say they were back together. She didn't say they weren't. Instead, she said, "We're together every day," followed by calling Pacino the coolest guy. That phrasing lingered. At the time, it was easy to dismiss the comment as affectionate co-parenting, but paired with a private dinner months later, it began to sound less like coincidence and more like an open-ended statement. Adding another layer to the speculation were marriage rumors that briefly surfaced in December, after Pacino was spotted wearing a gold ring on his left hand. The image circulated quickly, prompting questions about a possible quiet wedding. Those rumors were later addressed by Pacino's representative, who stated clearly that the actor was not married. Still, the moment reinforced the idea that something about his personal life wasn't as neatly defined as headlines suggested. Meanwhile, Alfallah's own public life continued to intersect with the Pacinos in subtle ways. Beyond co-parenting, they also share professional ties. She has been involved in film production, including a project starring Pacino, which naturally keeps them in close contact. From the outside, the lines between personal, professional, and parental roles appeared increasingly blurred. What makes this story resonate isn't just the age gap or the celebrity factor. It's the uncertainty. In an era where many public figures document every step of their relationships, Pacino and Alfallah have chosen restraint. No confirmations, no denials. Just appearances, comments that stop short of answers, and moments that invite interpretation. That approach creates a vacuum, and the internet is quick to fill it. Some see the dinner as proof of reconciliation. Others view it as nothing more than two parents maintaining a friendly bond. Without direct statements, both interpretations remain possible. And that ambiguity is precisely what keeps the story alive. What's clear is that their relationship has never followed a typical timeline. They began dating quietly, avoided public displays, and announced their pregnancy long after rumors had already circulated. Even their separation came without dramatic fallout, framed instead as a mutual shift toward co-parenting. So, when they appear together now, the question isn't, are they dating again? But, did they ever fully step apart? Because when people who insist they are just friends continue to share private dinners, daily contact, and professional collaboration, the definition of that friendship becomes harder to pin down. And this is where the story pauses. Not with answers, but with signals. A dinner, a quote, a ring that wasn't what it seemed. Each detail alone explains very little. Together, they suggest a relationship that may be evolving quietly, without public permission or labels. What comes next matters. Another sighting could shift perception. A statement could settle it, or silence could continue to speak louder than words. And for now, that unanswered space is exactly why people keep watching. What's also quietly shaping the conversation is how carefully both sides have managed expectations. At no point have Pacino or Alfallah framed their connection as something dramatic or volatile. Instead, every public-facing detail emphasizes stability, shared parenting, mutual respect, and continuity. That makes each unexpected appearance feel more significant, not less, because it contrasts with the calm narrative already in place. Observers close to the industry often point out that San Vicente Bungalows isn't a random choice. It's a space frequented by people who value privacy and control, where meetings are less about being seen and more about being comfortable. That context matters. Choosing that location suggests intention, even if the intention isn't romance. It implies trust, familiarity, and a desire to avoid spectacle. And then there's timing. This dinner didn't happen during a promotional cycle or alongside a public announcement. It arrived in a quiet window, months after representatives last clarified their status and long after the initial wave of attention around their son's birth had settled. In media terms, that timing is unusual. There was nothing to promote, nothing to clarify, and yet the moment still found its way into headlines. Which raises a more subtle question. If the story was truly finished, why does it keep reopening? Part of the answer may lie in how Pacino approaches his private life overall. Throughout his career, he has consistently avoided formal labels, public ceremonies, and conventional milestones. He has spoken in the past about valuing independence and resisting expectations that don't fit his personal rhythm. Seen through that lens, ambiguity isn't a strategy, it's a pattern. Alfallah's public statements align with that same tone. She hasn't leaned into speculation, nor has she rushed to shut it down. Her comments remain warm but nonspecific, affectionate but measured. Even when directly asked about their relationship status, she reframed the question rather than answering it, shifting focus to presence instead of definition. "We're together every day" is a phrase that sounds simple, but it carries layers. Together, how? As parents? As collaborators? As companions? The lack of clarification leaves space for multiple truths at once. That flexibility is increasingly rare in celebrity culture, where clarity is often demanded immediately. In this case, the refusal to define things may be the most honest representation of their reality. It's also worth noting that both Pacino and Alfallah have continued to live full, separate public lives. Reports linking Alfallah to other figures prompted representatives to reiterate the friends and co-parents framing, reinforcing the idea that whatever exists between them doesn't fit neatly into traditional categories. That framing hasn't been contradicted, but it hasn't been expanded either. So, when they appear together now, it doesn't necessarily signal a reversal. It may simply reflect continuity. Still, public attention doesn't operate on nuance. Images travel faster than context, and a single dinner can eclipse months of careful messaging. That's why this moment resonated. Not because it confirmed anything, but because it disrupted a settled assumption. And that disruption has a ripple effect. Fans revisit old interviews, comment sections reanalyze phrasing, photos are scrutinized for details that may or may not matter. Each new interpretation adds momentum, even as the subjects themselves remain silent. At this stage, the story isn't about proving a rekindled romance. It's about watching how two people navigate visibility without surrendering control. Every choice, where they go, what they say, what they don't say, becomes part of a larger signal. Whether this dinner marks a turning point or simply a footnote depends on what follows. A second sighting would shift the narrative. A formal statement would redefine it. But continued quiet consistency would suggest something else entirely, that the relationship never needed public resolution to begin with. And that's why this moment matters. Not because it answers a question, but because it reminds everyone that some stories don't unfold on a schedule, and some connections don't require an announcement to exist. For now, the only confirmed facts are simple. They share a child, they share history, they shared a dinner. Everything beyond that remains open, unresolved, and closely watched.